Hello, hello, hello. Wait, I need to clear my throat. Okay, I'm back. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the news live stream of the month. Although maybe I'll do another one at the end of September. I have no idea. Hold on. First, mic check. Can you guys hear that fan? I think you can. Maybe a little bit. All right. I'll turn it down a bit. Anyways, so yes, we are talking news as usual. Let me just I have face cam, so let's do that. Hello. Hi everyone. So you can okay, so initially you can see in the thumbnail, and I've got links in the description. I was just going to talk about the recent scans. Of course, we got the Gotchard stuff, KingOhger stuff. The KingOhger stuff isn't that much. It's just stuff that we already have seen in this show, basically, at this point. And then I was going to talk a bit about the Geats V Cinema, just because that's kind of cool, and we've been talking about that for months, so might as well throw that in. And then this morning, just out of nowhere, it's the wrong day. It's like 2 months early from what we've been used to. We got the trademark leak for the new Super Sentai. So I am going to be talking. Obviously, there's not much. It's just a couple of names, a couple of words, and katakana and stuff. But I am going to briefly discuss that, and then we'll jump into Gotchard and some of the other things. So yeah, some of you were asking, have I seen the new trademark? Am I going to talk about the trademark? Yes, we are going to briefly discuss the trademark, even though there's not much there, but yeah, we'll talk about it. Before I get into it though, be sure to check out my recent videos last week. If you want to hear my full in-depth thoughts on the first episode of Gotchard, I went and did my episode 1 review. Then a couple days after I got the belt, it's over there, so I can't show it off here, but I did get the Gotchard driver, so if you want to see my review of that, then obviously you can check out that video. And then I also got some card packs, and those will be videos this next upcoming week. One of them is already available on my Patreon. The next one I'm going to put up on my Patreon later today, and then the last video will probably go up on Patreon tomorrow, and they'll be released throughout next week. So if you want to see those early, pretty much by tomorrow, you can see all 3 of those. Check out my Patreon. If you can't support me on Patreon, then just subscribe, as I'm sure most of you are. But if you're not, then it's free. You can hit the subscribe button, and then you'll be able to keep up with it. So let's get into things with Bakuage Sentai Boomger. So that's what we're dealing with for almost the next year. I mean, and forever, because this is just going to exist as a season of Sentai. So that's the name. So there is a bit of breakdown stuff about what this name means. I need to pull up some links because I did not come up with this. The things I'm reading are from Legion of Boom on Twitter, so credit to Legion Mante for this. So as I think many of you have already been saying it as well. So Baku is very clearly part of the previous part of the name, or the first part of the name. Previously, we've gotten Bakuhatsu, I think, right? Bakuhatsu Sentai Dynaman. I know, yeah, some of you are saying Dynaman. I don't know. I forget what the first part of that is, but yes, we do have a Baku something Sentai previously, which was Dynaman, and that whole thing was explosions. I think Baku means explosion, or is part of the word of explosion, because then we also have Aba Ranger, which I know is Bakuryu Sentai Aba Ranger. Bakuryu meaning like exploding guts or exploding dinosaurs, something like that's a explosion word. However, apparently the specific kanji that is being used in this description of Bakuage is not the explosion one. Obviously, that's probably, like, they like to do their puns and stuff. So, and we have boom in English in the later part. So it's definitely meant to reference an explosion or bomb, some of you are saying. But in this instance, apparently it's also supposed to mean like folk tales or spirits. And some of the rumors we've been getting are like about Oni or like demons, Akuma. So there's a bit of the wordplay there, like explosions, but also we've been hearing about like spiritual stuff, and the word they're using is spiritual, so could be like that. Then the later half, obviously we all know what Sentai means, or squadron, or what it's used for. So then we get Boon Boomger. So boon means to help in Japanese. And in boom, we all know what boom is. So that's that name. Now the interesting thing is the actual like katakana for the other half, Boon Boomger, is not spelled boon boom. It's boon, like they're spelling it boon boon. That's the Japanese, like it's the same word twice, boon boon. But the English phrasing is boon boom. So they've put in a different word. So I don't know if that's just classic Toei. Hey, I don't know if that's classic Toei, like, hey, we've messed up the spelling of something, like, pilots. That's not a word. Well, it is a word, but it's not. This is a pirate. So, it could it could be something like that. They've done a little funny, or maybe, with Baku in the name, they probably did intend to mean boom, like explosion. So, and then Boom Boomger, obviously, Jur. So, if it is meant to be boom, then we also have a bit of double wordplay, like to help explosion, like helpful explosions, or something like that. There's some other things as well. Yeah, mythical creatures has been the rumor for a while. And then next year's like Year of the Dragon or something, so that could be it. Then we also have a leak from this dude named Color, who's been leaking stuff for a while. They seem to usually be right. They said that the key element of the team members' heads are tires. So, and then they post a picture of KingOhger. So, it seems like there's some kind of vehicle. It seems like definitively we have a vehicle thing happening next year, with tires on the head. So there's a lot of stuff happening. Tires on the heads, explosions, possible Oni demon references to help. So yeah, I don't even know where you go from that. What I would make a guess, just making a guess with what we have, is I would think that maybe they're like some sort of rescue team, if it's Boon Boon, so to help, but they're like a bit destructive. Maybe they're all like firefighters, but like they're gonna use the word firefighter like literally, and like they using fire, blowing stuff up, something like that. That's just my guess. Yeah, I don't know what the Baku Age part is. I haven't seen anyone discuss like the Age part of the kanji, so I don't know what that means at all. So it would be cool if the boom is from how fast they're moving. That would be a fun little addition. Could be rescue vehicles. Yeah, I think my guess would be, yeah, rescue vehicles, but they're gonna have a little twist and they're like destructive or something. Like they're trying to help and then they end up blowing stuff up accidentally or something like that. Or like a demolition team or something. A demolition team would be kind of fun. And like they have vehicles that are like heavy duty things or something like that. That could be fun. So yeah, that's all we have. We just have this name, and we got a rumor that they're gonna have tires on their heads. That's about it. Everyone is hoping that they're gonna go outside. They'll be outside for the for stuff. So we got a $2 super chat from Frank G. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. And they ask or say, so they're a demolition crew. And yeah, I would say that seems like the most likely thing, a demolition crew to help but explosions with vehicles. That sounds about right. Oh, next year's Dynaman's anniversary. There you go. Maybe like a spiritual sequel to Dynaman. Obviously, it won't really be a sequel to Dynaman, but maybe the idea is like, hey, Dynaman, explosions. There's the super chat notification. That's always very late, but regardless, thank you for the super chat. Demolition crew does sound pretty likely, at least from where we stand right now with not much information. So, and then it would tie into the vehicle thing as well if they have like vehicles that explode things or something. Like if they're a demolition crew, they're gonna be like militaristic, heavy duty vehicles. So. So that's about it for this Sentai trademark. So we'll move on to some of the other news. So Gotchard. Oh, this is cut off. Let me bring that down a bit. There we go. Gotchard. I mean, this isn't even anything new, but I figured a lot of the Gotchard scans is just pictures. Well, obviously, I mean, like, it's just, hey, here's this thing. We don't really have any, or no, wait, we do have a decent new info, which actually ties into the title about Decade not being real. Some of you are like, Decade's not real. That's called clickbait, but it's also not really clickbait because basically, to sum it up, I'll get more into it later. But Decade is not in the show. There is the rumors about Decade being in the show. Seems like he's not in the show. Which was kind of expected by this point, but there's like basically things that are confirming it to be true. So, but I'll get into that. For now, here's Gotchard. Once again, I'd like to remind you, if you want to hear my thoughts on the first episode of Gotchard, I have a video out on that. So I won't really delve into it here. And of course, I will be keeping up with the weekly shorts. So hopefully tomorrow, if not the day after, we'll have my review of episode 2 will be available if you'd like to hear my thoughts on that. Big thumbs up from me, just a spoiler. But yeah, so Gotchard, just some fun images of Gotchard in action. This is where things get interesting as we start seeing some of the other forms. We've already seen obviously Mad Pirates Wild and Opera de Bushido, but now we get to see Venom Dake. It's Mariner and Venom Dake. What did they combine? Deep Venom Mariner? If someone remembers, feel free to remind me. But yes, we can see that this is our first look at this form. He seems to be shooting water out of his hands. I just realized in that picture too, they've just taken the wrist card holder thing and just glued it to the propeller. That's really funny. I really like that. It's just there. That's really funny. So these forms, I already talked about Opera de Bushido a bit since we've seen it for a few months, but I still really like the look of it. I look forward to finally seeing it in action next week. Venom Mariner is cool. Venom Mariner, okay, thank you. I don't have strong feelings about it. It's a random form that Gotchard has. I don't hate it. The color combination is very interesting, like the teal and pink. Would not have imagined that. It's like Revice, but the blue is a bit darker, and he's reversed. But it looks fun. It's fun and quirky. And the helmet is also pretty fun. I just realized the things are supposed to be mushrooms, but they kind of just do it like it kind of looks like Mickey Mouse ears to me. Or I don't know, like frogs don't have ears, but they look like weird ears to me. So, but I also like the mouthpiece is like a scuba dive thing, and obviously the goggles are scuba diving, like a scuba dive goggles, so, or like swimming goggles, I guess. So he looks fun. He looks cool. I think we have yeah, here you go. You can see him much better here. He's gonna be moving his arm around a lot, I guess. One other thing too. Oh yeah, the arms, or one of them at least, is taken from the the build form Kirin Cyclone. The build form used for all of 2 seconds. One, like, it had one arm of that, and that is one of these propeller arms, but then they just made another, so he's got 2. So I don't know. I'd like to know what the thought process was on that. Like, I assume they just were like, hey, we can use this part from Kirin Cyclone, okay, let's make another one. So they just, like, they went through the effort of making another one, so it's like, it's not like they cheaped out. I don't really care if they reuse parts, by the way. They don't even, that form was in build for like 2 seconds, so it doesn't matter. But I think it's really funny that like I assume they had that part and they're like, oh, let's use this. Okay, now let's make another. They just made another. So it's like they weren't really lazy because they reused a part, because they made another one. Absolutely hilarious to me. He looks naked without anything on the legs. Yeah, he looks like a Geats rider now. Especially, there's no picture of it, but eventually when we get Ant Wrestler and it looks like Monster and it has nothing on the bottom like everyone that ever used Monster, so that will be funny. I appreciate that every form uses different goggles and glasses. I agree. That's a really cute, like, design feature. And it gives all the forms like the same kind of vibe. Like, they still all feel like Gotchard, even though they also have the same eyes and mouth, so there's that. But like, the goggles is like a thing that really goes above and beyond to help with that. So should I finish Geats or start Gotchard first? I mean, it's up to you, because you don't need to finish Geats to understand Gotchard. I would personally finish Geats just because I really love Geats, but Gotchard's also doing alright, so if you want to get into it now, it's fine. But I mean, unless you're going to take a year to catch up on Geats, then you could just finish that and then tune into Gotchard whenever that's still airing. So when will the Gotchard Cross Geats commercials start? Well, they haven't actually announced that movie yet, so it's going to happen, like, but, you know, they haven't announced it yet, so I don't really know. I don't know when commercials will start, so they haven't even said it's happening. Any word on the chrome sticking with the forms? Yeah, you can see it's still happening, like, especially on this form. You can see the shoulders are way, like, shinier. I think you can see on Apare Bushido, I think the shoulders are also still shiny, so the chrome is stain relevant. Here we can see Apare Bushido more. What's this next picture? Oh, here I included this thing from the latest episode. What is this called? The Odori Mantis wild form, which will probably be the only appearance of this. At least if it appears again, it will be CG again. Or apparently, I don't know if this is official, or like, you can tell watching the episode at least, like, it's just a PNG that's like moving, or like they animated it a bit. So I don't know what well, I don't know what they're doing with that, but it's a funny little animation thing. But I did want to bring this up and also go back to the Mad Pirates thing, because I actually, now that we're seeing it, like, I actually thought about it in the latest episode, and I actually do think the wild concept is a pretty interesting thing. First of all, I still stand by having Gotchard's first transformation be into Steam Hopper Wild is really annoying. I really despise that. I think it is annoying. Like, it's just kind of like, oh, that's our first transformation into a weird CG abomination. I don't hate that they exist. I don't hate that, like, he used it in episode 1. I just hate that it's the first transformation. I would have, personally, just side tangent, I would have preferred if he went into Gotchard, maybe he did a couple punches, and then he's like, he transforms into a little wild, and he's like, what the heck is happening? Because apparently, the idea of the wilds is they're, like, incomplete versions of Gotchard. They're not, like, full form. I mean, they are forms, but they're not, like, full variants of Gotchard. So it would have been nice if during that fight maybe he switches into wild and he's like, what is happening? And then Hopper one in his head, or Lean, or someone's like, hey, you need to fully sync up with your chemies to get back into your normal form. And then he does that, and then back into normal Gotchard, and then he does the finisher or whatever. That's just personally what I would have liked to see, because I do think it is, like, they said in, like, scan or like an interview or something, they want to try to get as much of the 50 or so, like 45 something forms in the show, but obviously they can't make 45 suits. So part of what they're doing to get that idea or be able to do that is some of these are going to be nothing but a weird CG abomination that will appear. But so, like, it's kind of this interesting thing to me, where it's almost like, I guess it's almost like armed forms in Geats, kind of. Like, you know, you can have Geats use hammer to, like, sell a toy or something, but then you still have Magnum, like, as a main form or something. So you're selling this toy without taking up the big form kind of position. Or even, I guess in another way, it's kind of like they're just random attacks, kind of, like, one way to look at it. Like, I guess they have rings, it's like a whole wizard thing. It could be kind of like, or yes, someone said, like, the little cars in Drive. Yeah, it's kind of like that, the way I'm looking at it, at least. Like, they're counted as part of this main set of forms, and they're no different than the main set of forms, but in some cases, they're just going to be, like, an attack. Like, he basically just uses Orrery Mantis as an attack, but it is a form in a way. So I once again, I wish Steam Hopper wasn't the first transformation, but I think the wilds as a concept, like, I mean, the CG's weird, but like usual with Toei CG, when they do something weird, like, it's not like a CG thing you're like, oh, just make a physical prop. I mean, in some cases, yes, that's true, KingOhger. But, like, you know, that Mad Wild thing is weird. Like, they can't make that. Or Mad Pirate's Wild. So, you know, make it a weird CG thing. And it, you know, it gets the idea across. So, I think that'll be fun, because it'll be able... And then we get stuff like Opera de Bushido. Because then we can have, like, big form debuts. Like, he got a new form because it's a real suit. But then in an episode, we can throw in... the Camantis Wild, which is also technically a new form, but, you know, it doesn't need any big story purpose to have that happen, because it's just it's basically just an attack. So I think that's a cool concept. I do enjoy that. And also, some of you were saying that they use, like, the VTuber technology to animate this, which is what I heard, but I didn't know if that was true or not. So I think that would make things a little bit fun as well, because, you know, some of the wilds are going to be, like, a VTuber, and then some are going to be a CG, like, 3D models, I think. So that'll be fun. And also, it seems like we're not going to see all of the wilds, at least. Like, or no, I guess we kind of will because of the toy line. Because in the toys, we kind of see what Opera de Bushido Wild, or Opera de Skebo's Wild would be. But we have no indication that then Opera de Skebo's Wild is appearing in the show. So that's an interesting distinction. Who knows if it will ever... I mean, it's a CG thing, so it wouldn't be too difficult for it to appear, but I don't know. Sorry for being late, but it's the basic gist that all the leaks were fake. The Kyoryuger ones were not, but I feel like everyone knows that at this point, because you could see physical stuff. But the Decade ones seem to have been wrong, yes. Have they announced any upgrade forms yet? No. The upgrade forms will be happening in a few months. So we haven't gotten any announcement. We have leaks or rumors about what they're going to be, but there's no official announcement of what they are yet. Here's Gold Dash. I threw in Gold Dash. I like Gold Dash. This is another thing too. Like, you know, Gold Dash just exists as a bike, but it's one of the form, or he's part of one of the forms. We just don't have the matching card yet, so he's nothing more than a bike. I think that's really cool. Like, I really liked when it reminds me of like Build. I was gonna say Saber, but I guess it would be more like Build. Like when he pulled out Harunezumi in episode 1, but we didn't get Harunezumi Fire Hedgehog. I mean, the best match form until like episode 5 or something. So, you know, that's pretty cool. I do like how I do like when we have like 2-part forms that they kind of keep half the form as a secret. I always think that's really fun. And also it's a Kemi, so it says Gold Dash on him, so that's fun. Here's him with the bike. I haven't seen the episode subbed yet, but I wish they had a line about Hotaro not having a driver's license, just because, you know, he's 17 in the show and they just throw him on a bike, and it's like, I don't know if you should be doing that, because he can't even drive a car, is he, not let alone a motorcycle. I mean, I guess Gold Dash probably is able. Yeah, I assume Gold Dash can do it all for him, so I guess it doesn't matter. I guess maybe they thought that one through. Maybe happy accident or purposeful storytelling. You decide. I guess it doesn't matter regardless. I just wanted to bring it up because I thought it was funny to think about. Did you guys see the opening of Power Rangers Cosmic Fury? It was so epic, and I can't believe they added Death Ryuger. Yes, we're not gonna. I don't have anything from Cosmic Fury here, even though there's been some news. I guess I'll ask. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna try to do it regardless. Do a Dino Fury Cosmic Fury video, but let me know if you guys are curious about if you want me to do a Cosmic Fury Dino Fury video, because I think I'm gonna do one regardless. But I am interested to see if there's public appeal for it. That's a Kino Rider machine. Can't wait for it to never get used. Well, apparently in the blog they said they would like to film a lot of Gold Dash scenes and have him used often, but I want to say I feel like they do that. They say that every year. So I mean, for Revice they spent $2 million on a hover vehicle and it only got used twice. So yeah, I don't know. Toei Beeline. The thing up there on the top corner is a toy that's coming out soon or this month. At some point it's a toy, and apparently he can use it to summon the Kemi. He puts a card in, and then that Kemi, the card that is attached to the Kemi can do an attack. So it seems like the implication is if he has that thing, like it's an ARM device, he can put a Kemi in it or a card in it, and then like Gold Dash comes out, and now he can ride Gold Dash or something, which already doesn't bode well for him using it often, because if you're tying it to a toy he has to use, as opposed to like, you know, a Geats buckle, just use the buckle as a form. It's already like, I don't know if we'll see Gold Dash a lot. So I do like they just randomly included Smartphone at the top. I guess he's gonna summon, because we know there's a Smartphone like toy, like a physical smartphone toy. So I assume that's what he's gonna use. That he's gonna use the device and it'll summon Smartphone as a phone, which just begs the question: why not use your phone? And why go through the effort of summoning a phone? That just seems like a bit more extra time, but you know, whatever. It's not my decision. Someone asked, is 17 the youngest main rider we've had? Maybe. I think Sogo might have been 7. No, yeah, because I think Sogo turned 18. The character turned 18 during Gio. So that would be no, I think, because Sogo exists. So let's see what's next. Valvarad. I think Valvarad is Valvarad. Like it's VA Valvarad, Valvarad, but I want to say Valvarad. I'll switch between the two. You guys won't. I'll keep you on your toes. You're not going to know what's coming next. Valvarad is finally appearing in the show. Here's a picture of him in the show. I don't know what happened, but I got it in my head at some point like Valvarad would be a woman, and we've known for like months he's not. We knew from the beginning they weren't going to make this kind of character a girl because they're scared of girl main characters that transform. But for some reason I keep thinking the suit is feminine when I look at it, and I don't know how that happened. So please help. Valvarad, still a cool suit. Can't wait to see it in action. Ogentaro was around 16 in Forze, which is crazy to me because he looks like a 20-year-old man. From things I believe it, but he seems way older than me. And apparently Kamen Rider Black was also 17. So, there you go. Gotchard is not the youngest. Good for him, I guess. I don't know if he cared about that, but if he cared, now he knows. So Valvarad is appearing. So I included this image. Yes, he has one of the summoners in his hand, his right hand at the bottom. Like you can tell it looks like that toy, but they changed the front of it. Which is interesting because we've never known about that toy. That toy has not been shown off at all. So it makes me curious if they're actually selling it, because the front part does look different. Yeah, the front part of Gotchard's has two pieces. Valvarad's has a single piece. So there's definitely room there to sell a different toy. But like, would it make any different sounds? So I assume they'll sell it. But maybe there's just a second piece to this one they're gonna sell. And they haven't shown it off yet. Which would be weird. They've never really hidden a feature like that. Also, like, what's the point of hiding that? What's the point of hiding the toy, hiding the feature? It's just, like, a small little thing. So, I don't know. Just, throwing that out there. Also, I guess, yes, someone said, please let Rin be the secondary. I don't think Rin is going to be the secondary. I think it's going to be Valvarad once he becomes a Kamen Rider. However, you did remind me that there's a promo photo of next episode where Rin is going to be using the summoner for some kind of attack. She's like falling over while she's shooting at something with it. So I don't know what's happening there. However, I'm pretty excited about, like, it's a small thing, but I really like having the civilian character, let alone the civilian character being the female hero. Using one of the main rider's weapons technically that's pretty cool. I don't think we see that too often. The last time that happened was Sumeri shooting Ace in the forehead. So I guess maybe it does happen often, but that was not a combat scenario. It was also the end of the show. So episode 3, Rin is using one of Gotchard's main weapons for something. And in addition to that, as I said in my review, like, I think it's just really cool. I wasn't expecting the alchemy ring to like be used as like a mini henshin device. She switches fingers and bam, now she's transformed, or with the suit at least. And then she's able to do magic and stuff, which is just like, she's not selling a toy, but it's pretty cool that she's able to get in on the action. So I think that's pretty neat. Anyways, Valvarad. So this is a blurry photo, so I apologize, but I did include it because we can see he's going to be using Guts Shovel. Do I have Guts Shovel nearby so I can prove to you that it's a... Oh no, I do have Guts Shovel nearby. Where is it? Oh. It would seem my Guts Shovel card has disappeared from my pile of Gotchard cards. Oh no, I found it. Never mind. False alarm. Card with a big gold shovel. Form with a big gold shovel. So, what's his name? Valvarad is going to be using Guts Shovel to get... I don't know if this is probably not going to be called an alternate form. It reminds me a lot of like the genome mixes from Demons, or Kamen Rider Revice, Kamen Rider Demons using genome mixes. with the big arm thing. So that's gonna be really cool. I actually really like that. Like seeing this and realizing the wilds were meant to be like an attack got me pretty excited about some of the form change possibilities of this season, because obviously we know that his base form is Mad Wheel, and you know, we know there's this Mad Wheel or Mad Pirates wild that Hotaro has to access at some point, obviously, or they wouldn't have put it in the magazine, I assume. And then now he also has Gut Shovel, so you know, it just raises some interesting possibilities of like, if they want us, at least if Hotaro's going to use Mad Pirates, how does he get a hold of Mad Wheel, and maybe even Gut Shovel? Has he get a hold of Gut Shovel? So I really hope, fingers crossed, we're gonna get like a scene where they do an attack at each other, they get hits, cards go everywhere, Hotaro picks up one, he's like, oh, I've got the match, bam, now he's Mad Pirates. Then Valverod's like, oh, what Hopper, now he's got like a Hopper ornament. That would be awesome. Machine Chaser's Toon Chaser, yes, yeah, it is like, I mean, yeah, pile on the Machine Chaser references, it's like that. Cross Z use builds Blaster. I don't remember that, but I do believe you. I believe this information. Do I think the villains will get their own monster forms or just evil rider forms again? That's an interesting question. We'll actually go to this next picture where they're here on screen, because you know, obviously they haven't done anything. They just fought in episode 1 and that was about it. But there is like an interesting kind of dynamic here. Like, there's been a lot of predictions about like the three of them kind of splitting off and doing different things. And that would be pretty fun, I think. Like, I could see, like, I feel like the little girl is probably going to become a monster, I feel. And then the long hair girl with the leggings is probably going to become a rider. I feel like she's going to get a redemption. She feels like most likely for a redemption. Alternatively, she could be evil. I feel like one of the two adult actresses are going to become, one's going to become redeemed, and the other's either going to like become more evil or just die. And then I feel like the little girl is going to become a monster and like super evil in like one of the end game, either not the final boss probably, because Kamen Rider doesn't like putting its final bosses in early episodes anymore. But yeah, so I include this picture too because we got all the chemis and it's kind of fun to look at, and also because we get this, we can see some of the characters down here. And if you remember, one of my early complaints, not complaints, but like one of my like disappointments with the press conference was like, oh, we don't really see any other students from the academy. And apparently it's confirmed that the two people wearing red, the guy and the girl, they are students. They're just upperclassmen. So because the initial synopses stuff described them as like tutors, so it's just like, are they staff or are they like, you know, student being a tutor or something? So they are tutors. They are students, but they'll probably like be tutors in that they help Hotaro and Rin, who are younger, but the characters are students. So I think that's cool. I like that. I look forward to that. And then here's just some stuff that'll be happening in the upcoming episodes. I also include this just because of the top left. First of all, Spanner is very tall. I did not notice that. That is a tall man. He's taller than the teacher. Okay. Also, I guess while I'm here, the older woman is shorter than Rin, and that's funny. Then the main reason I include this is Hotaro is he's got the uniform, and we can see there's some, I don't have any pictures here, but next episode he is transforming like while wearing the uniform, which is a pretty cool picture. And it's just a small thing, but I like that they're not like, you know, in all the press conferences and trailers and stuff, Hotaro was just in his normal like high school clothes, and Rin and everyone else were in the Alchemy Academy clothes. And seeing that like they're not really gonna make it a big deal like 30 episodes in, like, Hotaro, you're finally worthy of being an alchemist or something. Here's your outfit. No, he's getting in episode 3, and I like that. You're not beating around the bush with that. So, that's cool. And this, okay, I included this one for 2 reasons. Well, actually, a few reasons. First of all, top left, you can see he's got a lot of cards. I can't zoom in and see what cards those are, but, you know, we'll be getting some cards later. Hotaro in Hopper 1 is adorable. Hopper 1 is best. Okay, I don't know if it's best boy or best girl, because obviously the voice actress is a girl. Could be playing a girl character or a guy character. It goes both ways. I apologize. My nose is very itchy right now, so I don't. But also the thing with Hotaro and his mom, because I saw a lot of people were guessing in episode 1 that Hotaro's dad was Fuga, the alchemist who gave him the belt. But there's a picture of his dad in the store he lives, and as they say in the episode, he's not dead or anything. Well, I mean, granted, it was episode 2, so they did tell us in the plot synopses stuff before the show, so maybe some people forgot or just didn't know. But we have been told that, like, the dad's not dead, he's just out adventuring, and then they straight up say that in episode 2. So, yes, wouldn't Hotaro know what his dad looks like? That's what I'm getting at. There's a picture of his father in the place he lives. He knows what his dad looks like. He had no reaction to Fuga. If he calls Fuga an old man, I don't think Fuga looks that old personally. I don't know the age of that actor, but he does not look that. If I saw a man like that on the street, I would not call him old. I'd say he looks middle-aged. But that's neither here nor there. Yes, I think Hotaro's dad, as far as we're told, is not dead. He also can know what he looked like. Like, even in that picture, if assuming his dad was dead, he's not that young in that picture. He would remember his dad. So I just think it's funny because a lot of people are like, I saw someone or a couple of people are like, oh, this is very clearly Hotaro's dad. There's a picture of the dad. He can see his dad. Like, that, they're just playing a funky camera angle. They're doing a funky camera angle there because I assume they haven't casted the dad yet. And they're just waiting on that to do it at some point. So they just got a body double. Or maybe it's supposed to be a big reveal at a certain point. But it's not going to be revealed that's Fuga. Because Fuga's there. Okay, yeah, this is a good point. There better not be build face shenanigans. That would be a kind of weird for this show to pull. But I guess it's a possibility. Yeah, I don't know. See, the other thing I'm thinking too is maybe if Minato, the teacher, is like wiping people's memories of the chemis, maybe the dad wiped Hotaro and his mom's memories of him, of what he looks like, and this is like that visual representation of it. Like, they can see the dad, they can see he's there, but he's obscured. Like, it's like in a dream where you can't actually see anyone's faces, but you kind of think they're there. Maybe it's like that kind of idea. Like, the dad has been wiped from their memories. And this is that visual representation of it for us, the audience. I still think it would be kind of a weird thing to pull, though. Just because, I don't know, like, I feel like then Fuga would have a bit more of a reaction. Because then, by this series, Fuga would have wiped their memories of him existing. So, it would be kind of weird for him to then if this is Fuga, if Fuga's his dad, then it would be weird, like, his recognition, like, he just sees his son right there, and he's like, oh, hey, you're Kamen Rider. Like, I don't know, I feel like he would have had a bigger reaction to that. I thought Fuga was Kudo's dad, the one who betrayed her friend. Yes, he is. We're speculating right now. I don't think Fuga is Hotaro's dad. Yes, it would make Green and Hotaro's siblings, and I assume Hotaro and Rin are supposed to be around the same age because they're in the same class. I know the actors, there's a bit of an age gap. Not like a huge thing, but they're like a couple years apart. But I assume the characters are meant to be the same age because they're in the same classroom. So that would mean the dad, like the mom. See, then that adds the other thing. The mom wouldn't remember a daughter, or the dad was with someone else and had Rin, and then that's just weird. So I don't. They're not siblings. Fuga's not the dad. I don't think so. Maybe while he was adventuring, he got teleported to the other world, and time in that world runs differently, and he's been there many years, but only a few years in our world. That's possible. Where do I watch Kamen Rider? If you go to YouTube and you type in where to watch Kamen Rider, you'll get my friend Achilles' video, and he goes over a few sites that you can watch Kamen Rider. So there you go. Is Valvrad the anti-hero or secondary rider? He is allegedly our secondary rider. Like, he's not a rider, but he will be the secondary rider. I'm going to turn off my face cam for a second just so I can inch my nose without looking disgusting on stream. Here are bad guys. These are a couple of these we've already seen already, of course. A couple of these are appearing next episode. And then a couple of them are not. Actually, oh wait, I'm moving things I shouldn't be moving. Let me disappear for a second just so you can see all of these, actually. I disappeared for the at the perfect time. So, you can see, well, going from right to left, we got the Camantis and Skebos, which we already saw. Ant Trooper. I don't think Ant Trooper's appearing next episode. And then we know Venom Mariner and Deep Mariner and Venom Dake are appearing, I think, in the same episode next week. So I don't know if it's like a 2-part episode. He's only going to defeat one, he'll defeat the other the week after. I guess or he could be defeating both at the same time, and then he gets to use the form next week. And Trooper we have not seen yet, so who knows what's happening with that. Top right is very funny because they've got this guy fusing with Camantis using the card, I think, but Camantis has been defeated and that didn't happen, so it's just a weird thing they did. It's just a bit of promo. And then we can see the sisters on the left. I find it really intriguing, at least like after the latest episode, because the sisters aren't in it at all. And then Skebos just happens. So there's this interesting disconnect between the monsters and our villain generals. The generals are not sending these monsters out. They seem to just be happening. So I think the sister, there's a promo picture of the sisters appearing next week. So I'm really interested to see what their involvement in the story is going forward. Like, are they going to be latching on to, are they going to be like attaching some of the chemies to normal people and they create monsters? Are they going to be are they not, like, are chemies just going to be turning into monsters? I think they're called amalgams. Amalgams, I don't really care. They're just monsters to me. Are they going to be like physically fusing people? Or are they just, the monsters, are they just going to be a thing? Do the sisters go and attack the monsters so they can get cards? Or the sisters are just going to be around, and then there's some episodes where they get involved and have a role in the story and transform into monsters. And then there's some episodes where that doesn't happen. So there's like some episodes are like, this is a big plot thing because the bad guys are involved. Or is it some cases where it's just, here's a monster? I'm curious to see what's happening. What if Rin was created by alchemy or something? That would be kind of weird. That would be like it'd be like Nago Neon being fake, but maybe weirder. I don't know. Am I excited to see what the remaining cards will be? Yeah. We've already seen quite a few of them, but I am excited to see. We know like the whole list at this point, so I'm excited to see the art at least. Maybe Hotaro's dad is not Rin's dad, but what if Hotaro's dad was an alchemist? Hotaro's dad is definitely like an alchemist or something, for sure. Like, if there's anything like definitive, it's definitely that Hotaro's dad is involved in the alchemy world. Just to what extent is definitely the question. What is my favorite Kemi? Bunny Bounty, because I like bunnies, and that's a cute bunny. So, okay, here's another thing. I'll come back on screen now. Where's my... Hello. This thing is very blurry. This is apparently the driver for Kamen Rider Legend. Kamen Rider Legend is the name of that decade form, or the decade rider. It is not Kamen Rider Decade. Apparently, what happened here is some leaker saw the decade look-alike form and said there's a decade thing in Gotchard. Then the one guy who was very definitive on decade being in the show saw that and just assumed it meant decade was in the show. I think someone said decade's in the show, but like as a suit, and someone took that to mean decade, the character, the actor, is in the show. So then he just ran with that, and all of us thought he was in the show because it was a reputable leaker. And they were very like, they kept, like, you guys don't understand, they kept posting so many pictures like decade's in the show, decade's in the show. So it was like, oh, I guess decade has to be in the show. He's not. He's not. I also think they just greenlit the actor, his mini series of Toku season 2 just got announced or greenlit or something. So he's gonna be busy with that. So he can't be coming back at the Gotchard. So that's not happening. Decade's not in the show. So that's what that thumbnail means. Decade is fake. He's not in the show. However, Kamen Rider Legend is a thing, and you can see here the belt. It's kind of hard to tell because of the blurriness, but the belt kind of looks like the Deca driver. Like, there's that gold piece, and then there's black bits on the side that look like the sides of the Deca driver. So apparently, I didn't include any other images, but apparently the way it works is like, it's like a piece that's closed. You pull the sides like the Deca driver, and it turns, and then you insert the card, and then I don't know if you push the sides back in, or if just inserting the card is all you do, but then the gates will open, and you can see the card inside. So that'll become Kamen Rider Legend. And then the suit will look like Decade. He will be, it's like a golden Decade apparently with like a trench coat. So that's gonna sound hot, or it does sound hot. I assume it will look hot. This isn't confirmed, but I would bet money that that Minato is Legend, just because. Well, first of all, I think in the press conference when he came on screen, his name was in yellow, so gold, yellow. Here's that. Also, just I don't know. It feels like it fits the role better. Like, it would be weird to introduce a random character and now they're a gold Decade. We have this teacher character and it's like, hey, he's also a Kamen Rider. I mean, like, it makes sense the Alchemy Academy would have had more than one driver. And then, yes, so you're bringing up the Legend Rider cards. If you look, it's kind of hard to tell here. If you look farther back, it kind of looks like the Geats card. Like, you can really see, like, it matches up with that pretty well. So it seems like he'll be using the Legend Rider cards. So first of all, that's kind of interesting because, like, they just released this whole set of like Geats cards in phase 0, and they're gonna become items in the show. They like released all of that early. Like, his whole arsenal was like a special pre-show release. So that's kind of fun. I also think it's fun to see, I don't know, I'd like to see what role the rider cards will, like, how did those come about? Are those chemis, like yeah, are they counted as they're not part of the 101 obviously, but will they be counted as chemis, like, that appear, or like are they chemis someone made? Are they just random things based on legend riders? It also brings up this weird question of, like, why? like it just feels really weird, like, out of nowhere, because we've established all of these normal chemi cards of just random animals and bugs and stuff, and then we just have this other set that are Kamen Riders, just random legend rider. Like, a decade rider appearing is cute, that's fun, but a random legend rider set of cards is weird to me. So I'm interested to see what happens with that. Because what? I'm trying to think. I was gonna say something. Yeah, I don't know. Just, it feels very random for the show. Like, cause, okay, yeah, even Revice, like 50th anniversary, George made Kamen Rider references, but even the forms weren't like beating you over the head. This is based on Double. This is based on Kuga. Like, if you knew, I mean, you could obviously tell, but it wasn't that obvious of a. I mean, it was obvious, but it wasn't like, the show wasn't like, do you guys get it? Kamen Rider Kuga, do you get it? But in this, it'll be like, that's literally Kamen Rider Geats. Like, like, he's right there on the card. So, hopefully he doesn't use the legend card. Personally, it would be kind of cool, but I really hope he doesn't use the legend cards. I'd rather he used, like, the X cards or something. Like, if it's like Revice and the forms look like he looks like Decade, he's got a form that looks like Kabuto or something like that, sure, go for it. I don't know why I picked Kabuto, but anyways. But if he's using the legend cards, that's really weird. That's kind of ridiculous. So that's my opinion. 101, that's Ollie specific. Apparently it is meant to be a play on, like, 101, like a history class, chemistry 101, alchemy 101. So wasn't the blank chemi cards meant to be legend cards? I assume you're talking about the cards in episode 1. And that's, no, those weren't supposed to be legends, because we know there's 101 chemis. That's one of the first things they told us about the show. And now with the belt being out from leaks, there's 100 cards of the different categories that match together. Then there's a bunch of other random legend rider cards. Then there's some other cards that could be the 101st. We don't really have a definitive answer what's the 101st chemi, but we do know the other 100 chemis. Maybe Minato is like George and is a fan of Kamen Rider and decided to create his own Kamen Rider chemis. See, that's just where it's, like, weird to me. Like, it's fine if they explain it like that, but it's still weird because that's, like, Revice did that because it was the 50th anniversary, and I thought that was a fun way to use the 50th anniversary. Why is I mean, unless he's only using Geats Riders and Reiwa, like, then is this supposed to be the reference to the 5 years of Reiwa? But that's still kind of weird to me. It just feels weird with the show. Like, they've established 101 of these chemis within, like, you know, within the rules of the show, and our two characters are using that, and then we're just going to get this random other set, and those happen to be Kamen Riders. Do I think Kamen Rider Legend will appear in the Gotchard Cross Geats? Yes, the movie, for sure, because it seems like he's appearing before the movie would be out. Maybe he's part of the movie. Maybe that's why he's using Legend Rider cards, because he's a movie rider, which would be really weird because it's a retail belt. Including the Legend Rider cards, there are more than 101 cards, yes. Someone's saying the Geats card's probably a placeholder. That's definitely a possibility. It's a weird card to pick as a placeholder, but yeah, it could also just be a placeholder. It's just a weird leak. Maybe this is fake. I don't think it is. Some people that have seen the belt or something like that are saying this is what it looks like, so I want to see what happens when Gotchard gets a hold of 2 matching legend cards. He probably gets a form that looks like them. I want to see Kamen Rider Blade using Kamen Rider Gotchard's card. That would be kind of fun. I doubt power-up cards will be included in the 101. So, from the leaks, leaks as in toys, sounds, in the belt, there are 80. There are 80 normal cards. There's the ones we have, the categories we have already: insect, animal, plants, job, and then the 2 leaked ones, but the ones we haven't seen any cards of yet, but we know they exist because they're on cards we have seen, which is ancient and occult. Sorry, wait. I can't count. Wait, hold on. Insect, job, vehicle, plant, artifacts. Now let me just. Okay, wait. Insect, vehicle, plant, artifact, job, animal. Then ancient and occult, we know are coming, and then the last 2 is apparently like space and mythology or something like that, and those 2 exclusively combine with each other, and they create a different announcement in the belt. So those might be used as like a pseudo power-up system, especially because we're probably not going to get all 101 chemis before in 3 months before December. If they do, that is insane. So I don't think it's not impossible because Toei's insane. But that set of cards, I could see them doing it as like, I don't know, that's the super form. He uses all, like, it's just like 10 super forms he's got. Or no, it would be 5 super forms because 10 cards. No, wait. No, it would be 10, yeah, because it's a set of 2 sets of 10. So it would be like 10 super forms or something. I don't know, because we know the upgrade form apparently is using the X cards. So that's already one upgrade set out of the way. Is Kamen Rider build influencing the naming sequence of Kamen Rider Gotchard's forms? I don't know. I don't really think so, but... Bandai, there's 101 cards. Also Bandai. But wait, there's more! Yeah, that sounds about right for Bandai. Are there going to be a different set of 10 chemis per element when Phase 2 comes out? I don't know exactly what you're asking. I mean, there are going to be new cards in the Phase 2 box. So, I mean, there's only like 10 chemis per element, so we're going to have those. So they're not changing that, I guess. I know they aren't. So, I think next is Buffa. Yeah, so Buffa. Who wants to talk about Buffa? So Kamen Rider Buffa is finally getting his upgrade form that we've heard about since February, that I brought up in like March or something. It's actually not finally here because the movie is not out yet, but we know it exists. It's real. It's actually real. Buffa Mao is real, except it's called Buffa Plosion Rage. Buffa Mao sounds a bit cooler, but so it's going to be part of the Geats V Cinema. Right now it's just called Kamen Rider Geats the movie. There's no official name. Tycoon has been beheaded in this photo, so I apologize to Tycoon fans. But you know, he doesn't have a head. No, screw it. I'm shrinking this image down for a second just because this is a fantastic poster. We got all of our 4 main riders in their final, their actual final forms. Buffa finally gets a new buckle for his final form. Poor Nago's final form consists of a single buckle that was in the belt since it was released. I wish they gave her at least give her the beat pants, so she's using 2 normal buckles, but she's using both sides of the belt. Or fantasy boost. I don't understand why they didn't give her fantasy boost or fantasy beat, but here's this poster. So if we move back along, or no, actually, yeah, let's move along. So here's the form again, in action. So Buffa Plosion Rage. Here's the buckle. We'll stick on this picture of the buckle for a second. So the buckle is not exactly. The colors are a bit different, but this is the buckle that we saw in February. This is almost exactly like that sketch that someone drew many months ago. So what happened with with Buff Him Out, because that was leaked as like a premium Bandai release in February, and it just got shuffled. This is being released with the DVD next July, so it was not some kind of weird, like, it is a weird, I guess they shuffled it to the V Cinema. I've seen a bit of speculation. We have no definitive answers, so this is just speculation. Some people are thinking maybe like they made this new mold, this new form for Buffa, and it was supposed to be in the show, but then they realized they didn't have anything for the V Cinema, so they just moved this over to the they just moved the form. The form was supposed to be in the show, and then at some point they shuffled it over into the V Cinema. Yeah, there's not really, like, they had this plan since February at least. Like, we know this existed 4 months, and it was probably planned to be in the show, or else we wouldn't have seen it. Like, we wouldn't have gotten that premium Bandai leak, because this isn't premium Bandai anymore. It's part of the Blu-ray DVD. Yes, I did. I did pre-order this Blu-ray DVD set, which I usually don't do for these things, but I have pre-ordered all the other final forms, so might as well complete the 4 rider final form, like, just for this. Like, this is, I mean, it's gonna be toys on a belt, but, you know, I really like the idea of having the 4 final forms. So yes, I did get this. You'll get a video sometime next year opening this thing, as this thing comes out next year, so that's wild. As for the form itself, the look of it, I like the look of it. I think it looks cool. The belt, I mean, going back to the belt, the buckle looks awesome. Like, I like it has the zombie, like, handles on the side, and it's got, like, the big claws of zombie, but it's just, like, completely unique. The new Buffa piece in the middle is pretty cool. Rip my wallet. Yes, thank you. It's a good thing Amazon Japan won't charge me until next year, but yes, rip my wallet. The form itself is pretty cool. I wish it had a bit more purple. Personally, it's a lot of silver for a purple rider. So I just wish maybe a bit more silver. But other, like, the actual, like, it looks good enough, I guess. I still do really like it. The use of the Jamashin horns are cool. I wish it was painted orange or something. Like, black horns is kind of boring. I guess just maybe the colors are a bit drab because it's all silver and then black. If the horns were orange or red or purple, no, not purple, because the head is purple. So if the horns were like purple, or if the horns were like red or orange, there was maybe some more purple, maybe more orange as well. I would love it, but I still do really like it. It looks pretty cool, especially the big chainsaw hand is ridiculous, but it is awesome. It is kind of weird that when the buckle has 2 zombie hands, but the form only has 1. Like, maybe at least if they gave him the smaller claw in the other hand or something, it would kind of make more sense, but whatever. The big chainsaw, I don't know if it's supposed to be a shield he's holding or if that's just his hand, because some of you are saying it was repainted from the Cronus shield in Xade, but they also added the big chainsaw pieces to it. Seth and Flame super chat $10, adding to the get Thomas out of debt from all these cool toys fund. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for the get me out of debt fund. I appreciate it. Very, very cool. Thank you. Because, I mean, look at that form. I had to get this buckle for this form at least, because that chainsaw arm is pretty awesome. I really do like it. And then, yes, some of you, it is almost entirely a kit bash, as some of you are pointing out. The head is obviously Jamashin. I think that part they added on the face is new. But some of the bits on the side are from Command, I think. So it's obviously the Jamashin head a bit. The chest is Fuma from Kamen Rider. There's a super chat thing because it's late. Thank you once again. The chest is from Kamen Rider Fuma, which was also reused for Live and Evil last year, in last year's V Cinema. The shoulders are Command. The right arm pad is, I think that's also from the Live Evil forms or the Fuma suits. Left is the Game Dia shield, of course, but the chainsaw pieces are new. And then the bottom half of the legs are Monster. They got rid of the fist hands, so it doesn't really look like Monster, so I think that's a pretty nice little change. You can't really tell it's from Monster at all. Like, I think that's interesting. My theory is that the leak was the original colors, and then Toei Bandai changed it when it wouldn't make it into the show. Oh yeah, that seems like what happened. They definitely changed that buckle's colors, probably. So it's just very interesting. I think I'd like the form a little better if both hands had smaller hands with chainsaw fingers. I think if they were smaller, the chainsaw fingers wouldn't work as well. So at least in my opinion, I would have liked at least one hand to be smaller. So poor Command Twin is just spare parts at this point. Yep. Tycoon, the chest. Well, it's funny. The chest piece was used for Tycoon, and now the shoulders are used for Buffa. So there's one entire Command Twin suit that's gone, but I assume they still have one. Like, I assume they took apart Jet. Sorry, no, they took apart Cannon because Jet was still used by Buffa while Bujin Sword existed. So I assume they still have Jet, and they took the shoulder pads of the Cannon that they took apart. So I guess Command Twin legs are still on the table for a future form. And then there's this thing. We got a brief trailer teaser. Doesn't really tell us anything. Except it doesn't really tell us anything because we also got a list of the cast. So Beroba is in it. Beroba comes back to life somehow. Daichi's in it. And it's supposed to be about they're gonna discover the true origin of the Jamato, which is very interesting to me. Because I just assumed the DGP made the Jamato. The show doesn't really imply the Jamato were made by something else and then they stole them and started using them. So I do like that concept. Like, it doesn't ruin the show, at least in concept. Obviously, we haven't seen the movie yet. But, like, in concept, it doesn't change anything about the show because it's like, oh, you know, it's, you're like, oh, they didn't make the Jamato. Okay. But it adds this, like, interesting backstory, I guess, we'll be discovering. And then the form, the Plosion Rage form has, like, a bunch of Jamato markings. Like, that's the kind of things the Jamato stuff had. So I don't know if this form this form probably ties into the Jamato a bit. And then Beroba was obviously Jamato supporter, or sponsor. She was Buffa's supporter. Daichi grew Jamato. So, we will be getting some kind of backstory on the Jamato. We're bringing in Jamato characters to look into that. And then this is just in the trailer. Like, there's no explanation of what's happening here. You can see Ace is back. He's got his white hair, and he's got a gold and black and gold Boost Mark 9. So this is our third variant of Boost Mark 9. Supposedly it's Boost 10. Well, it's not supposedly. Some people are guessing, having fun. Maybe it's Boost Mark 10 because we got Boost Mark 9 and we got Cross Geats, which was supposed to be a joke about 10, like Boost 10, because instead of like IX for 9, it was just X cross. But maybe this one will just straight up be Boost 10. What role is this? Like, is this even Ace? Is this something in the movie? I assume he's like the main bad guy. Yeah, I don't really have any ideas. I would assume, my only speculation is it would be like an evil Ace, like Ace has been possessed by something as God, or something is just taking Ace's appearance as God, and then he'll be the boss Buffa fights, and that would be pretty badass to have like a Jamato Buffa form go up against a black and gold Boost Mark 9 as like this perfect ending for the rivalry between the two of them. Even if it's not Ace or not, it's a thing that looks like Ace. So, yeah. So actually, that is Buffamao name that people are saying for Buffa form. Yes, this is this is what we were being told was Buffamao for months. The name is actually Plosion Rage. Also, Plosion Rage, the Plosion part is stupid. It's kind of fun because it's like explosion, but also poison. They added an L to poison, like the zombie buckle will say poison in the magnum gun, and the chainsaw says poison. The English language is so funny, where we have poison and you add an L in a certain part and it becomes plosion. And then instead of raise buckle, it's a rage buckle. So that's really badass. I really like that. Beroba controlling Ace, possibly. Yeah, we don't know. Beroba will probably be evil because she's evil. Wasn't it a different character also played by Beroba's actress? No. So before this got announced, they announced that there's like a weird Buffa spin-off thing being released with the DVDs. So that's just a weird, like, I think it's like a dream thing or something. That is not this. That there's a different Buffa thing happening called like the Buffa spin-off or something. This right now is just Kamen Rider Geats, the movie, the V Cinema, and it's that's KingOhger, and it's debuting this form. So if you take the L out of Plosion, it's not poison, it's potion. That's true. I don't know English at all. You're right, but I think it's supposed to be a pun with poison. So any news about winter movie between Gotchard and Geats? Nope. As far as we know, they have not even announced it. Or not as far as we know. They haven't announced it, but you know. If that is Ace, doesn't that ruin Geats' ending as they don't remember him anymore and they can't see it? I mean, I guess yes, but also we all kind of knew Ace was going to not come back, but like he would appear to fight in at least like the V Cinema, or not the V Cinema, in at least like the crossover movie. So, you know, I guess it's to each their own. I was expecting that Ace would become physical again, at least in some aspect. But like he's got the god hair, so like it could be related to that in some sense. We have two god in Kamen Rider, Fruit God from Gaim and God of Creation from Geats. That is true. It would be cool if it was the other Ace we saw in the dreamlike sequence wearing the mask when he became Geats 9. We all thought that was going to be Cross Geats, so yeah, they could bring it back for here. Ever going to talk about Outsiders' new forms? I did talk about the Disaster form when that got released, or got revealed, just because I like Saber. They have all the forms they've been showing off. They've been cool, but like I'm going to put a picture of the Blade. I would put a picture of the Garen one here and be... So Garen got a new form. I don't think he didn't get it in Blade. So now he got it here. I hope Blade fans are happy. That's about it. Like I wouldn't really have much to say about those forms. So maybe I'll probably do like an Outsiders video, maybe if it ever finished, because it is really interesting. But and maybe I'll buy the Zane belt. I don't know. It's kind of cool. But I mean, if they had an X-Aid thing, I'll be talking about that. So. Spin-offs are only as canon as you want them to be honest. I don't think it ruins the ending. That's fair. Might not be Ace, but just a lookalike. That's what I'm thinking it could be as well. Like a false Ace. They're trying to trick everyone to thinking they're Ace. I thought at least KY remembers since he still has his ID core. Yeah, he definitely does remember. He has the core. Good point. Kuragane, don't forget Crazy God Dan from X. Oh yeah, but he's not like a real god. Don't tell him I said that. What if this Ace is just like Black Sumeri? Instead of Black Sumeri, white Ace. That could be fun. That would be really interesting. It would just beg a question: who made white Ace then? And also, how did Beroba come back to life? She died. We saw her disintegrate. she disappeared. How is she back? But these are questions that will be answered in Kamen Rider Geats, the movie. with no specified release date, right? Well, we know the DVD comes out July, but it will be released in theaters probably before that, and maybe digital before that, like usual. So who knows? This thing will probably be Premium Bandai. Also, just for anyone curious, because it's not being released with the DVD set. Still no toy revealed about Ohja's Survive card with repainted Ryuki Dragon Gun. Right, yeah, they still haven't announced. The Disaster thing is the only thing from Outsiders they've actually released, or it's out next month, but it's the only thing they've actually gotten announced as a toy. There's nothing for Ohja Survive. Garen's episode obviously hasn't come out yet, so he's not going to get a toy yet. Zane, nothing yet, but he hasn't transformed yet, so maybe he will get something soon. Who knows? And yeah, some of you are talking about the Geats takoyaki form. Some of you are mentioning a buckle. I don't think there's a buckle. I am checking the twitters.coms just to make sure there hasn't been anything newly announced. No. Okay, because it's not a buckle. They just gave him a new core, and it's weird. I don't know if anyone's curious. I don't know if I'm gonna buy that core because it's just a red ID core for a weird form. I don't mind buying ID cores that don't do anything. I bought the oneness core, but in this case, I don't know. I mean, if it's like $5 on Buy, go for it. Yeah, I'll do it. But if it's really expensive, it's just a thing in a stage show, I think. So I don't really care for it. Would I like to see the Boonger colors be red, blue, yellow, orange, and purple? I would like to see I'd like to see pink come back because we didn't. Oh, no, we got a pink Dawn Brother, so I guess it's fine. I like to see pink come back. I saw some people saying it would be fun. I think Christian Antoine said that they could bring back a pink Ranger color scheme, but make pink a guy and then make the two girls like two colors they haven't been before. That would be pretty awesome. What is my opinion about the ride watches they revealed for Vice, Revice, Saber, and Geats? Yes, it was for the 5th anniversary of Geo. That's pretty cool. I was not expecting that. They did it the night before Gotchard debuted, and I was like, can't you wait at least until the show is the show's not even out yet, and they announced the ride watch for Gotchard. I didn't pre-order them. I don't have my Jiku driver anymore, but they are pretty cool. I'm glad that they exist. You can get all 6 Reiwas, main Reiwa riders, in ride watch form, and then 01 is just randomly a weird pseudo DX, but oh well. Since this special has to do with the Yamato, and the Yamato evolved with stuff like ID cores, what if Beroba took the Stone Geats 9 thing and created Yamato God of Creation? That's not the craziest idea. See, that still begs the question, how did Beroba come back? However, the rest of that sounds viable. that could be pretty cool. Because I remember during Geats, some people were talking it would be crazy if Geats died because they'll have Yamato with 2,000 years of knowledge or something. So he did die. They have an ID core out there for Fertilizer now. So I think I might be that might be what I'll think they're doing now until the movie comes out. That sounds pretty it sounds pretty cool, at least. Geats returns in the movie with the Takoyaki Mark 9 buckle. Yes, let's do it. They shouldn't have waited until the 10th anniversary of Geo to release those ride watches. They don't care. If they can make more money now, they're gonna make more money now. Don't tell Bandai when and when not to release toys. How likely do I think a big Reiwa crossover would be this winter since we are 5 seasons in? I actually do think it's pretty likely. Because they haven't announced the movie yet. So some people are saying if they haven't announced the movie yet, maybe they're waiting to make a big splash and be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half because of Vice main Kamen Riders from Reiwa all in one movie. I'd love that. That would be really cool. So yeah. Oh yeah, they could do another Revice, another Geats, another Gotchard, another Saber. Technically, they haven't done another Saber. Would they do another Revice, or would they do another Revi and Vice? This is a very interesting topic. Debate amongst yourselves. I'm kidding. We're gonna move on to KingOhger. There's actually not much to talk about with KingOhger. So I'll just go through this pretty quickly because I mean everything in these scans is stuff that's happened. It's the time skip. So everyone's got new costume. Well, everyone except I think Yanma's his jacket looked more blue in the episode. But I don't think I think it looks like the same jacket here. I don't know. Himeno's obviously got a new dress and they got her out of the wig. Everyone's got a new hairstyle. That's Kaguragi's only difference. Jeremy has a new thing on his shoulder. And then Gira's wearing Rackley's outfit, and I actually really like him in the outfit. He looks really cool in that. I also just really like that outfit. And my one thing is I was like, if they make Gira king and they're gonna keep him in that orphan uniform for the rest of the show, I'm going to be so annoyed. And they put him in a Rackley's outfit, and I think it looks pretty badass. Rita's the only one that's like a downgrade for me. Actually, I don't know. Yanma's blue hair was pretty cool, but Rita, not the short hair is whatever. I don't like they got rid of Rita's trench coat. That was really badass, and now they just are wearing pants. Like now Rita looks like in this picture, like they just look really skinny or something. I don't know. They look. I know that the actress isn't that skinny, surely. Like I don't know. It's just weird. It's like uncanny seeing Rita without the jacket thing. So, Rita is just wearing pants. Yep, pretty much. I read on Twitter, is that true that the new Kyoryuger does not come with 3 Judenchi and there is no Judenchi reader? That is true. Yes, that is true. We'll get into the Kyoryuger stuff. I know some of you, the title might be a bit misleading. What I meant to put in the title was the Kyoryuger crossover is like a thing. It's happening. Plus, Decade isn't real. Like that's meant to be 2 separate things. I think some people were interpreting it as the Kyoryuger crossover isn't real. That is real. We have pictures of that. I assume that too. Like people would have seen pictures of that, so what they would know. I'm not trying to mislead anyone. I was not trying to say the Kyoryuger crossover isn't real because that is real. We've all seen pictures of it. So, feel like maybe they cut the hair on Rita because the heterochromia might be seen more. Could be a plot element. I mean, certainly possible though. Probably, I feel like there has to be an explanation for that. It just kind of feels like a weird character decision to make if you're not gonna have some kind of like, even if it's something as small as she got it cut in battle, it just feels like a weird thing to not to do. Or sorry, but like their eyes still being covered, so it's not really that much more visible, but it's fine. So the big thing, at least in my opinion, with the second half of KingOhger is we're getting 4 new villains and a whole new villain. Like it's a whole new villain faction. It's way different from just like, hey, here's Stacy, part of the Toji Tendo. I forgot what the Zenkaiger villains were called. Or even here's Sonoshi. Here's another Noto. It's the Bug and Rock are gone. Here's 4 new guys. And Kamijin is there. That man 666 with the $6.66 super chat. Thank you so much, and thank you for staying on brand. That's pretty fun. They say that was actually on time this time. That's crazy. In regards to Gotchard, hope the season doesn't fall on its face, but I'll be livid about Takuro Fukuda being allowed to write another Rider show. The name sounds familiar. I don't know exactly who that is. Yes, I hope it's fine. I hope it's good. They've set up a bit of a fun tone, and I kind of hope they don't get rid of it and do something like darker and world ending ish. Like I don't love the tone they have right now, but if they stick with that, it would be pretty great. I don't want them to get rid of that tone, but yeah. Oh, Takuro Fukuda is the head writer for Ghost and Saber. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. I know that name. I don't know if they'll let him. Both times he's come and written, he's written shows. First, I like Saber. Just to preface this, I haven't seen Ghost, so this isn't like me. Oh, I don't want him to come back because I don't like his shows. But both times he's come and written a show, it's a show that's very hated by the community, at least the Western community. I don't know about the Japanese community, so at least, the community doesn't seem to really like them. And he also just didn't write half of Ghost and Saber regardless, so he's not really much of a head writer. He's not there half the time, so I don't even know if they'll bring him back, because he doesn't seem to really do things for them. But maybe he will come back. I don't know. They brought back Takahashi 3 times, but they also, like Satan 01, are like beloved seasons. So I like how they use the new villains in each episode, like the KingOhger in the start. That is true. That is an element I do like. I'll get into that. So anyway, I wrote down the name of these villains because I don't remember any. Well, I only remember the pink one is Leech, and the big guy is Gotchard because it's a funny name. And if Gary didn't say it right, he threatened to kill everyone. So so anyways, yes, from left to right, we've got here I've gotten written as Dagded Dujardin, because that's what the wiki says, but it sounded like it said Dugaded Dujardin, so I think I'm just going to say it like that. Next, we got the guy from the latest episode, Goma Rosalia. Then the girl in the next episode, Hilbil Leech. Then we've got Minongen Moth, and then Kamijin. But Kamijin has a last name now. He's Kamijin Unka. Don't know why he chose to hide that last name for years, but it's here now. We have a last name of Kamijin. Also, I think it's, maybe they'll elaborate on it, but I think it's really funny. Kamijin just exploded, and the next episode they're like, hey, he's alive. They don't even, Kamijin, how are you alive? You're just like, yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Like, it's just like, I mean, we knew as an audience he'd be alive, so it's just kind of whatever, but it's really funny. Like, he exploded, and then next episode it's like, oh, hey, what's up, guys? I'm back. I'm Kamijin, and I'm still alive. I don't know. So the names are references to other bugs. I think Dugaded is supposed to be like a space bear. I think that's what it is. And it's supposed to be like in the head, like the thing in his big head is the bug, and then it's just the king thing or something. So that's really cool. I guess we'll talk about that in a second. Goma is based on a Rosalia bug. It's just called a Rosalia bug. Hilbil obviously is based on a leech because that's just in her name, as is Monaghan is based on a moth because that's in his name. And then Kamijin, I don't remember what he's based on, but he's not new. We've known what he's been based on. So, these guys are weird. I don't know. So, okay. So, I mean, the designs are pretty cool. Goma, in the latest episode, probably my favorite design. I really love that space helmet visor thing. That's really badass. Hilbil's is fun. I don't know what exactly is happening here, but the weird thing on her face, and she doesn't have a mouth. I like that. Also pink. The moth guy, it looks like he's made out of matches, so I don't know what is happening there. He's probably my least favorite of the group. Yeah, someone said, I thought he's based on matches. Well, his name is Moth, so I assume he's based on a moth, but yes, he also does look like someone threw a bunch of matches together and then glued them. So so what's next? Oh, we can stay on this for a second. So some of you, I got a lot of flack on my short review because I didn't really like the latest or I didn't like the first episode, and I didn't love the latest body swap episode either. So I'm just gonna take a moment to explain myself, even though I did explain myself a bit in that video. I really like the concept of putting in this whole new villain faction halfway into the show. That's really awesome. That's really unique. And I honestly, I think it makes the first half of KingOhger a bit better, because some of that pacing that was a bit weird can just be chalked up to, well, it's just like a 26 episode season of Sentai. Like, that's basically what they were doing. And I think it made some interesting choices, like God KingOhger is like a quarter 3 mecha, but it was able to exist as like a final boss mecha, sort of. I think that's pretty fun. And the time skip I thought would have been really interesting. And again, granted, like, we still have the rest of the show to go, so maybe it will get interesting. But you tell us it's like, oh, 2 years have gone by, and we do not see the extent of the 2 years. Like, they just tell us 2 years have gone by, and then we have to jump right into, hey, here's bad guys. We don't get to explore the 2 year time skip as an event. Like, what happened, what's different. Like, my main thing is I really cannot, but like, I do wish we kind of saw what Shugadam was like now that Gira's in charge, but I imagine it's just, I mean, it's probably not that much different. It's just maybe I wanted to see Gira like be friendly with the people a bit, and then things got crazy. Rather than, we don't see Gira interact with the public at all, because he said he was going to be a king that's friends with the people. We don't really see that. The main thing that bugs me is we do this 2 year time skip where we end off where there's a whole new kingdom in this world. Like, the kingdoms are basically countries in KingOhger. So we've established this whole new pocket of the world with the enemy faction of the first half. So, like, you know, some people are like, oh, it's 2 years, changes aren't going to be that big. I don't need the whole world to be different. I just would have liked to see what the Bugnarok kingdom is like. I would have liked to see Jeremy as the king, and then everyone shows up and starts attacking everything. But no, we don't see Jeremy's kingdom at all. We don't know how Bugnarok, the kingdom, exists as a kingdom, and it's existed as a kingdom for 2 years in universe. So, like, I don't know, the time skip they haven't done anything with the time skip, and I know there's still a lot of show to go. They could, I mean, hopefully eventually we'll see, that's a spoiler, hopefully eventually we'll see what Bugnarok kingdom is like. But for now, it's just weird. You establish Jeremy is now in charge of this kingdom, and then oops, now we don't get to see it. Then the other thing that just really bothers me is the king. Like, this doesn't seem to be a factor in the show at all, so it doesn't matter. But the kings being in prison is just really weird. I know a lot of people are like, Rita doesn't make sense. Yes, I do agree. Rita doesn't make sense. She went to jail because they wanted vacation time. Yes, that's fine. I have a minute. I can't really say, besides Rita, everyone else's is weird. I mean, I guess I could say it if I'm really fast, but yes, Rita's is fine, but it's just the other three. It's just super weird, and everyone's like, oh, it makes sense narratively. Like, they've been shown to be like selfish people, and I'm like, yes, that's true, but it's also just a really weird twist to end the show with them pledging their loyalty. To end season part 1 with them pledging their loyalty to their subjects. They all pilot a big robot together, and then the next episode we see they went to jail for blowing up half the world. Why would you write that? Like, that doesn't feel satisfying at all. Then in addition to that, like, it's just pointless. Like, it just feels like a weird plot device to have the KingOhgers arrive, and it's like, whoa, they're back, whoa. They could have just had them on vacation. Like, have them on vacation. Let me finish my sentence. You could have had, like that gives you, like, the selfishness aspect of, like, oh, Himeno's off partying instead of ruling the kingdom, and what Sebas is in charge. Like, and then she shows up, and it's a big, like, then the bug guy goes across and gets all the kings and gives them the Ohsama calibers. Like, you get the same kind of idea. Obviously, Rita would still end up in jail for vacation. But it's just, I don't know, it's just weird to me. And then it seems like this show's not, like, but then, like, the criminal charges were, like, dropped in, like, a title card at the end. So, and then next episode, they don't seem to address it at all. So it's just, like, a weird thing to just include. I don't understand it at all. So, then also for the other kingdoms, we don't really see how, like, the world has changed. Which, granted, 2 years in those other kingdoms that have existed for a while probably wouldn't really matter. But, it's just another thing. It's like, oh, we don't really get to see anything there, too. I think it shows that they still have to grow a lot as people, but it's not a great way to show it. Yeah, like, again, if they're like, hey, Himeno's off somewhere vacationing, Yanma is locked in his basement playing games, Kaguragi is something, come up with something here, Rita obviously is still in jail, then you can do their retainers are in charge because they are selfish and they're just choosing to not be kings right now. And then Gamijin, the bug, has to get the Ohsama calibers, and he goes across and he's like, we need your help, guys. And then they do the big badass show up, new clothes, whatever. Like, you can still do all that and it makes more sense. It doesn't feel like a cheat on the characters, like, oh, I just saw Yanma accept the bugs as souls or something, and then he just made a big supercomputer and it was stupid or something. I don't know. Jeremy did say that it's going to take a while for everyone to see Bugnarok as allies. Right. I mean, I'm not asking for a 2-year time skip and the Bugnarok are living in Shugadam. I want a 2-year time skip and I want to see the Bugnarok living in their own country that we've been told they're going to be living in. We don't see that. We don't see Bugnarok Kingdom at all. So, I mean, we see it as all the Bugnarok have been killed or defeated. That's a bit up in the air. So, yeah. Like, it feels like they just did a 2-year time skip to give everyone new clothes. Kind of. Because, like, we don't really see Bugnarok Kingdom at all or something. Like, after 2 years. So, then the other thing that's weird... This one, I'll fully admit, this is just kind of a weird nitpick, but I kind of thought the 2-year time skip would also be a bit of a mechanism for the Galact insects. I forgot to mention, these guys are called Galact insects. That's a pretty badass pun. I thought it was going to be 2 years because the Galact insects were taking 2 years to arrive on Terra. And then they can just teleport. So, I don't really know that. I don't know, it's whatever. I don't know. That just feels like a weird, just a weird thing. Like, why did you take 2 years to start attacking, Duga de Dujardin? Because you are fully within your abilities. All of them are fully within their abilities to just show up on Earth. So, I don't know what that's about. I don't know. That one doesn't really matter as much. It just had me wondering. I'm like, he's teleporting Gira across the universe, and I'm just sitting there like, wait, so why did you take 2 years? What were you doing? I mean, maybe that's part of the character. Like, he maybe Kamijin took 2 years to get to him. Probably waited to see if the bugs and humans kept fighting right. Yeah, sure. Maybe he took 2 years. Like, it seems well within the character to just sit on his ass for 2 years and then be like, oh, that's not solved yet? All right, let me go and deal with that. Like, I just thought it was kind of funny. I was like, what took you so long? I don't know. It's whatever. I do like that they tied it into the Fury of the Gods immediately. Like, they immediately have all the random shoe gods. And then everyone, like, they explicitly say, like, the Fury of the Gods is happening again. So they haven't really elaborated on the Fury of the Gods yet, but I do really love that. Immediately, they're like, yes, these are the gods that had their fury. Something like that. They were tied into that event. So that's really cool. I do really like that. And Duga Dead, as I said, is right now, like his introduction episode, I don't even care. Well, I do care he's super powerful, but it's the fact they made him super powerful and he's just like a child. I love that character archetype. To me, or honestly, to me, his character feels a lot like Weisel from Ryu Soldier, but if he was like, he had Evolt's powers from Build. Because he's teleporting Gira across the universe, he's throwing planets at Shugadam, but he's throwing planets because Gira said his name wrong, and he's teleporting to all these planets, like, to as a show of power, but he's got like a high-pitched voice, and like as they show, he can just walk across the universe. Like his room is just the universe, but he's just swinging he's in a swing. He's just having a big old time. And I think it's kind of fun. Like, it is kind of weird, like the Evolt thing, like, oh, he could just destroy the Terrans whenever, but he's a child, so he's gonna have a bit of fun with it. So I really enjoy Do Get Dead. The others they're just kind of monsters right now. I mean, Kamijin, obviously not. We know about Kamijin. Kamijin's cool. The others are just kind of monsters right now. However, I do think I'm really curious to see what these next few episodes are, because this last episode was Goma, I guess is his name. We'll say Goma. Goma was just the monster of the week, but he wasn't defeated. Next episode is Hirbil. She probably won't be defeated, but she'll be the monster of the week. I assume next week we'll get the Moth guy. Same thing probably. So I'm interested to see what they are doing with the episode plots now. Like, are they gonna just have these guys as the monsters of the week? Which is actually a really fun concept, because it reminds me of Maji Ranger did something similar in its last stretch of the show. They introduced like the 10 or something like gods of Infertia, and they were like generals, but they were the foot soldier. They were the monsters of the week for the last half of the show. So that was like a really unique concept. Like, because we got a guy introduced, and it's like, oh, he's a general, and then he's defeated like a couple episodes later because he's just one of the foot soldiers, or not foot. He's like one of the monsters of the week. So it seems like they're doing something like that. The thing is, like, we still have a half of a show to go, and we have four like generals essentially, and then the leader. And they're not doing two-parters. Goma's whole thing ended in this one episode, so that has me a bit worried. Like, it could get repetitive of like Goma, Hirbil, Moth, Kamijin, Goma, Hirbil, Moth, Kamijin, repeat for 10 times or something until we reach the end of the show. That could get a bit repetitive, but we'll see. At the very least, I am, like I said, I think introducing a new villain faction halfway through, I did briefly mention it, but Dugadid's head, it just looks like a Shugad soul piloting a big robot body, and the Shugad, the bug in the Shugad soul are, the bug in there is the space bear, or whatever it's called, that he's based on, so that's pretty fun character design. I don't think they're going to repeat it. That would be pretty poor story structure. Yeah, I mean, they probably won't. I'm just throwing it at her. Like, you know, we don't know. Like, they've established the story structure. We're going to see Hirbil